You know, normally reporters follow the FBI's investigations, but recently it was the feds following 7 Action News. Tonight, the top man at Detroit's FBI is talking only on 7 and taking our Ross Jones inside their probe of a sitting Supreme Court justice who pleaded guilty to bank fraud.
Hi, I'm Diane Marie Hathaway, and I'm running for the Michigan Supreme Court.
When she was a candidate, Diane Hathaway said she would rid the Supreme Court of all its perks and privileges. Taxpayers, she said, want a justice who will share the pain felt by middle-class families.
We need a change on our Supreme Court. We need judges who will follow the law.
Not long after saying that, Hathaway embarked on a 2-year scheme to break it. She liquidated bank accounts, hid homes in family members' names, and told her lender she'd soon be out of a job. It was all one big lie, an attempt to fool her bank into thinking that the wealthy Hathaway had hit hard times. Her trick convinced ING to forgive more than $664,000 in mortgage debt.
How much did it surprise you that she thought she would get away with this?
It surprises us a great deal.
In a rare interview, the head of Detroit's FBI is talking about his office's probe into Hathaway's bank fraud, an investigation, he says, that was sparked by our 7 Action News reports.
It was pretty clear at the very early stages of the information that we had a viable investigation. When you're dealing with criminal activity and criminals themselves, there's a certain degree of hubris that comes with the thought that perhaps they're not going to be the ones to get caught.
Special Agent in Charge Robert Foley says his agent started investigating Hathaway within days of our 7 Action News report. She was never interviewed by agents, but they spent months gathering bank and mortgage records through subpoenas. Foley says Hathaway's scheme was easy to spot.
The manner in which she conducted her criminal activity is somewhat typical when somebody's committing a bank fraud. I don't think you could categorize it as very sophisticated. It was about average.
Her plan involved hiding a slew of homes in her 3 stepchildren's names. Foley says his office considered charging them, but said there wasn't enough proof they were involved in the scheme. But what about her husband? He's also a career lawyer, signed the same documents as Hathaway, and seemed to be just as involved.
It did seem like that. However, providing a standard of proof to a jury is an entirely different matter, and we never got to the level of beyond a reasonable doubt in our investigation that in fact was the case.
As structured as Hathaway's scheme was, Foley says the real irony is that it was totally unnecessary. The Justice's bank told the feds that despite her considerable assets, they would have still approved Hathaway's short sale, only requiring her to bring $90,000 to the table.
My hope is that after serving her time in prison and during that time period, she has time to reflect on what she did and come to regret that decision, as I'm sure she's starting to do.
I don't assume you ever felt bad for her along the way.
Your assumption is correct.
Last month, a judge recommended that Hathaway spend her year-long prison sentence at a minimum security prison known as Camp Cupcake. As prisons go, it's one of the nicer ones, but certainly not the kind of digs that Hathaway is used to. In the newsroom, I'm Ross Jones, 7 Action News.